Coming up on this episode of the Girls Group Chat podcast.
If you are somebody that's sitting looking at models or people in the media and going representation doesn't matter, you're so lucky to think that.
Can the wee boy and his Heelys please come to the front desk, please? The wee boy and his Heelys.
I said 7 seconds flat.
Because men are told that it emasculates them.
Yeah.
And women are told that it masculates us.
I know the first time I met you, I thought, Jesus, that's pretty strange. Hello and welcome to the Girls Group Chat podcast with me, Shannon.
Me, Olivia.
Me, Diona.
And me, Claudia Winkleman. Me, Jordan. I'm just kidding.
If you're listening to the audio, we're all wearing fringes, and Jordan has one on that she thinks makes her resemble Claudia Winkleman, although she forgot her eyeliner.
I like it.
Do you?
Do you look like Anne Hathaway in The Devil Wears Prada? I like it.
That's a real insult to
Although
Anne Hathaway. Jordan has been scammed because on Amazon it's like £6 for a human hair fringe. Yeah. Ours is the same texture. Jordan's was meant to be human hair and it is not.
Have you ordered the same one as us?
I did. Can I make a confession?
What?
Why it looks so bad? I straightened it myself.
I fucking knew. You
I
straightened
think I sizzled it and I straightened it like a ski slope out. So Olivia's done her best to rescue it. I was blaming Amazon.
Mine in like 230 degree heat though. Mine didn't.
Oh, did you? Okay, well then maybe I have been scammed. Oh well, do you know where you won't get scammed? Our Patreon. You can join that for £4 a month, £1 a week. You get a bonus episode every week. You also get access to pre-sale tickets. You get bonus vlogs, all sorts of fun stuff over there. Community forums, you'll find that at patreon.com/Girls Group Chat podcast.
Can I just say at the top as well, my fringe is the joke.
Oh yes.
In case anyone's like, why has she made that decision?
Wait, can you explain why we're all wearing fringes?
Oh yes, so today, 2 reasons. Today, on this episode of release day, Monday the 28th of July, is my first show at the Fringe. Woo! So I am currently, by virtue of time travel, in Edinburgh doing the Edinburgh Fringe. On my first day, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Fast forward 3 weeks, I will be crying in a corner, into a crunch corner, or something random like that. And also I talked about getting a clip-on fringe a few weeks ago, which, by the way, everyone was like, oh, that's so stupid and so ridiculous. Everyone's fucking buzzing over their clip-on fringes.
Look at us now.
Except for Jordan.
Well, yeah, no, so I don't like me.
You posted a photo the other day in your clip-on fringe that you actually bought, not this one.
Not this one. It's the same but a different colour. I'm going to wear it in the next episode.
It's so sexy.
I'm going to wear it in the next episode as if it's my life.
And every other episode ever again.
Yeah, cause like the fact cut, I've had fringes cut on before and they're well looking on me because they go like lump. You know, like a wee lump fringe. Whereas if you bought the ones you buy are like better.
Reminds me of the
You can
Cheryl
also
Cole
take
ad.
them off. So you know that when you get a fringe cut in, and then like 3 days later you're like, I don't actually want this anymore.
Yeah.
And you can just take it off if it's slip in. Welcome to the world of alternative hair.
Olivia, would you branch into winges?
Winges, probably not, because I hate a fringe on me.
So
okay.
I hate a fringe. There's
you
nothing
look
I hate
gorge.
more in life.
I just don't like that I
Other than,
can't
like,
see.
poverty or whatever. I need mine cut.
I feel like I can't move. It feels like a real barrier.
Mine's
really,
really long.
It does feel very restrictive, doesn't it? Having a friend. Do you ever remember when you were a child and your mom would just cut you this like
Stole
haircut? Yeah, like literally just get like a A4 page out and hold it up against your eyebrows and just cut along the top. And
I was really lucky. I never had a fringe. No harm to anyone with fringes, but like as we can see, it doesn't suit me terribly well. So yeah, I did
like
used to cut my own wee side fringe. Remember when a side fringe was having a moment in the Noughties?
The big, huge side fringe.
Yeah, like pure emo Tumblr vibes. The big combed ones.
I went to get a side fringe, my first one, but the big mistake I made was I went to my granny's hairdresser.
And all
she was just doing was rollers and a blue vance.
Yeah.
And I was like, cut me on a side fringe. And she was like, could you, what language is that? And I was like, we side, like all the girls are doing it and all. And then obviously there was no internet to be like, here, look at the internet.
From here.
Yeah. No, she got like the tiniest strand of hair and just cut that, and then I just had this and then my forehead with this, and it was horrific. And it was the same girl that I ever tell you about the time she gave me layers.
Oh god.
Oh, I went to her and she also didn't know what layers was, and I had 3 steps at the back of my hair, length, and then 2 inches up, and then 2 inches up, just 3 steps, like almost like the dog, I want to say, in like the Addams Family.
Oh, I'm picturing Dougal the dog from Magic Roundabout.
Maybe that's what it is.
Just like Magic Roundabout.
Yeah, I mean, I went. She did it in her kitchen as well.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah,
I remember the first time I got layers, I thought I was a chic, sophisticated woman of the world. I was in second year in school. My mum had let me get a chunky highlight, like a Kelly Clarkson stripe, basically, in my hair.
Which now you'd be accused of having stress.
Yeah, like it probably was a reaction to stress getting it. And I got layers cut in, and I went into school with a little hair slide on one side, and no one could touch me. I was like, oh, they're just layers. Don't mind me. I'm just an icon, you know. I still feel that way now with this wonderful fringe.
For my confirmation, I had the Rachel.
Oh, yeah?
Which was so ridiculous on an 11-year-old's head. I had like the bouncy all the layers, all the waves, all the like real blow dry within an inch of its life. I wore a double denim outfit. It was a waistcoat fringed with a long denim skirt and an luminous green groovy chick, which you'll remember.
Yeah.
T-shirt
I
underneath.
marooned on up. Do you remember the groovy chick bike?
Oh, aye.
With the low handlebars
The
and the
chopper.
fluffy seat, the chopper.
That was amazing.
That was like the goal. I got it for Christmas and no one could touch me. I was bitten about Billy being like,
I used to
you
ride
see
around
this
Armagh
bike?
Mall and on thing by. Unreal. People of Armagh didn't know what hit it.
Do you remember Heelys used to be allowed to do them around the shopping centre and then they banned them?
People flying around Tesco's on Heelys. It was absolutely chaos.
But you know
were
what?
breaking
A
their
wee
necks.
girl in Lidl the other week banged into me in her Heelys and I could have smacked her.
Are they still going?
So I understand why they're banned now as an adult.
Yeah, you shouldn't be allowed them in a shopping centre anyway, because they're basically they're basically a roller coaster.
Yeah, but the shopping centre was class because
dangerous.
it was the best texture. You were able to get good speed in the shopping centre.
At the time though, when they were banned, you felt so hard done by.
Oh,
I remember being like, my good Heelys.
They used to do announcements in our shopping centre saying like Heelys and wheeled
And the wee boy and his Heelys, please come to the front desk, please. The wee boy and his Heelys.
Then 7 seconds flat, grabbing onto someone's mobility scooters. Hitching a ride. Be a great way to get a bike.
rolling.
Yeah, they're bound to make Heelys Crocs, and if they don't, let me patent
Have
that
you
right
seen
now.
the Crocs that have a heel? Like a stiletto heel?
Hawk tooth.
They look.
That would take a turn, didn't it?
Talk to it, yeah. Whenever I was getting married and they run up to my wedding, because I do love Crocs, so many people were tagging me and like, oh, you can get wedding Crocs. It's like, no, we will sort of not take it that far. I don't think. Well,
they were wearing Crocs.
Don't get me wrong. If you want to wear a Croc on your wedding day, have at it. But I personally didn't. I am contemplating getting Crocs for my dog, though. You can get dog Crocs, dogs. I don't know. No,
cruel.
dogs
Do
are
you
different.
think Bumbles would like
I
them?
don't think your wee dog would want to walk with a pair of Crocs on.
Why could you be embarrassed? Mom, get these off me.
She'd rather some Converse.
Well, okay, we'll look into it. But I just think they're kind of cute. You know, keep your wee paws clean.
But also Crocs are pretty expensive for what they are. So I would say dog Crocs are really expensive. And you wouldn't want to spend that money for Bumbles to be like, I do not want these on, and then doesn't wear them.
Right now.
We are so delighted to introduce our sponsor, Barista Bar, who are celebrating 10 years of fueling people across Northern Ireland.
Barista Bar is Northern Ireland's biggest coffee brand. They are stocked in Sparrow, Eurospar, Vivo and Vivo Extra. They are all over the roads, so wherever you are, you can grab one on your route. We would know all about that because we're literally never off the roads.
So true. Barista Bar's 10 years of Ups campaign is all about celebrating the big moments that they've been a part of, from wake-ups to pick-me-ups to cheer-me-ups to things like warm-ups, snuggle-ups, hook-ups, and of course our favourite thing, which is catch-ups with friends.
Ooh.
They have spent the last decade delivering on consistency and quality and convenience, and now they're treating all of us because you can get a free coffee on your birthday on the Barista Bar app, and every 10th coffee is also free. How exciting.
That's class.
Yeah, so here is to 10 years of Ups with Barista Bar, and here's to many more to come. Happy
birthday, Barista Bar!
Yeah, well, okay, if anyone wants to sponsor me a pair of
Dog
Crocs,
Crocs.
yeah, throw them my way.
I love... There's two things that I think are the cutest on kids, right? So I had Crocs for my kids whenever we were on holidays, but my son, he doesn't like, he's only 2, but doesn't like change. Like if he's a pair of trainers he's been wearing for a couple of weeks, if you buy him a new pair of shoes, he's like, what are these? Like he's not into it. So the only way we could get his Crocs on him on holidays, because otherwise he would be wearing socks and trainers, it's too warm. The only way we could get his Crocs on him was by pretending that they were Mario shoes.
Right.
Because they're sort of shaped like...
A wee
something
mushroom?
that they'd wear, a wee mushroom, like something they would wear in Mario Land. So we were like, Mario shoes, and then he was all, yeah, and then he had a green pair, and he was like, Luigi shoes. So that's the only way he would wear them. And then the other thing that I think is the cutest thing is kids wearing backpacks. Fucking
Oh, so cute.
And you're like,
Really?
what's in your wee bag?
oh yeah, like what do they need? Wise
Not a
up.
thing.
Like they've got like a Buzz Lightyear, and like, but my daughter, if I'd be all dear, pack your backpack if you're going somewhere, like, and you open it up and she'll have like a spatula and like a stapler and then a doll, and then she'll have like 3 pairs of knickers, and you're all, where are you going?
Same though.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's in my handbag.
too.
Same vibe. Yeah, I'm with her. Did you ever have an inflatable backpack?
Yes,
Remember
the bubble ones.
Yeah.
with daisies on them.
Yeah, inflatable backpacks and inflatable furniture were like a real thing whenever I was a
Inflatable
child.
furniture.
My friend
Definitely had an
Joanna
inflatable sofa.
had an inflatable sofa. Well, I would have been jealous of you because I was so jealous of Joanna.
Yeah.
With her like sticky couch. I was like, wow, what a comfortable piece of furniture.
But it was almost like, because do you remember magazines like Ms. Magazine and all those like teenage
Dirty
girl,
Talk.
get all those, like the wee magazines that you would get when you were like pre-teen.
Yeah, and you
you
always
and
got
your
like a
friend.
little lip gloss in the front of them and all.
Yeah, and you would have like the big quizzes, and I'd be like, which boy band member of 5 are you going to marry? And you'd be like, oh my God, me and Scott's meant to be. And you'd sit and you'd do them, and you and your friend would sit beside each other on a bubble sofa, just like doing all the wee quizzes, like finding out which Spice Girl you are.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was like, you'd have an album playing, like an actual album
Oh,
from
start to
one
finish.
artist
Yeah.
playing in the background. Those were the days.
Do you know Girl Talk had a feature in it called Dreams Come True, and you could write in and be like, oh, I've always wanted to go to London and then pick a wee girl and she'd have a lovely day out. And I wrote 2 letters to them and they never granted me my 2 wishes. Well, they never came true. And if anyone's able to fix either of these 3, please let me know. One of them was I wanted to have a sleepover with the Spice Girls on the Spice bus, from the movie. Didn't comprehend that bus actually was just a movie set.
Yeah.
Sorry for the spoiler for anyone who hadn't figured it out. Didn't arrange a sleepover for me with the Spice Girls. And then I asked if Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet could come to my house for dinner and could I have the Heart of the Ocean, the diamond from the movie. And they never got back to me on either, which I think is quite outrageous. It was called Dreams Come True, not like squash every hope I've ever had.
If you look at any of the dreams that came true, it was more like, can I meet up with Pamela Valentine and visit Connolly's? Yeah. It was like a little bit more achievable.
Yeah, it was achievable. That still sounds like an absolutely
that's
amazing
dreams.
day out.
Yeah.
But it was things like, I've always wanted to try a curry and they'd send people like a jar of sauce kind of thing.
Yeah.
So my aims were a bit high. But like the Spice Girls for me when I was younger were everything. As I said in a previous episode, when they split up, I cried. I went to see them in concert when I was younger. I was really, really lucky. But for me, they were my pinnacle. And it's actually still my number 1 goal in broadcasting. Like my number 1 job goal is to interview one of the Spice Girls. And I would love it to be Emma Bunton. But I'll have any of you if you're listening.
But they were, whenever we were coming of age, they were the biggest role models and they were the best as well. And I still stand by, like, that whole girl power movement was bigger than the sum of its parts. It was like so important for feminism, so important for young, and it looks like it's like squeaky pop,
bubblegum manufactured kind of thing.
It's not. It meant so much. It actually gave young girls my age, all our ages at the time, like that sort of confidence to like be different from each other and yet still be class,
because they all had their own little personalities.
They all had their own identities, and you could always see yourself or see your friends in one of them. And how fun to get together with your friends and be like, I'm the scary one, I'm the sporty one, and everyone was reflected. And it meant as well stuff like, what was seen as attractive would have been the likes of just Emma Bunton. Yeah. And her look, that girly, cutesy girl next door, and all of the rest of them brought on these other accepted looks. Yeah. One of them was to dress boyish in a tracksuit, slick your hair back and big hips, and that was cool and fun and cute as well. And that just provided so much for us all. I think it was so important.
No, it really was. And especially now whenever I look back, because I was really young. Were you even born in the Spice Girl era? You wouldn't have been. Oh, that's so sad.
Just the tail end.
The tail end.
But I was obsessed with the Spice Girls movie. It was I think it's the first movie I remember watching and being like, oh my god,
so good.
Like it changed my life.
I looked up to them as a young girl because I just was like, I'd love to be a pop star like them, and I thought they were really cool. But actually now when I look back, there's quite a few really good documentaries about them. I go, they really were like trailblazing the way for women. Like they really were. So it was Spice Girls for me. Who was like a role model for you growing up?
We are delighted to introduce our sponsor, Iconic Bronze. If you haven't heard of Iconic Bronze, it is a tanning and cosmetics brand founded right here in Ireland by the lovely Linda Stinston.
I've been a brand ambassador for Iconic Bronze for 7 years. I actually started using their products when I was in uni, and myself and Emma Kearney created a collection over 3 years ago now, and these are actually my lashes.
Fancy!
I know, they're unreal.
Their products are class. I have to say, I've only started using this recently. Their instant body makeup, incredible.
That sort of thing,
incredible lifesaver.
I'm a big fan of a body makeup. All their products are luxurious without the hefty price tag. They're also vegan and PETA approved and award winning as well. So you can't really go wrong with Iconic Bronze.
And we have all of our listeners a 30% off code. Ooh. If you use the code Girls Group Chat on the site, 30% off all of the goods at iconicbronze.com.
I have such a theory on this because I think, like, looking back at, say, when we were growing up, like, we had Geordie Shore.
No, see, I was convinced I was Britney Spears.
Right, well,
Like-
same vibe. So we've got Britney Spears, we've got Paris Hilton, we've got Kim Kardashian came in the mix, Geordie Shore, Snooki. So we grew up, reality TV shows. So we grew up and we all have like Hallian stories because we grew up and like that was the vibe that if you were like you know Britney Spears shaving her fucking head and you had Kerry Katona in the magazines and the OK magazines was such like I was obsessed. OK,
So was I.
and then I look at like I speak to young girls now that are like 14, 15 and they're all into like going to the gym. They go to Pilates. They
Skin fridges.
skincare
fridges.
and like they're all in their skincare and they're all into like looking after themselves and I'm like, oh my god, like what a shift.
Yeah.
And it is because of what they consume.
Yeah, of
that's
course.
very
Like,
interesting, actually.
We consumed so much like trash,
Yeah.
which I loved it. But even like all of the reality TV shows, all of the magazines, they were so toxic and we took that all in.
Yeah.
And we became crazy bastards. But now the young ones are just completely different.
Because I remember at a stage, my mummy said to me, and it must have been, say I was early teens, and she went, that's it, I'm not buying any of the magazines anymore. Because my ma would have went out every single week and bought 3 or 4 of the magazines, like Heat and OK and whatever, I don't even remember half of them now, whatever they were all called. She'd bought all them, like celebrity magazines, and we just, ate it up, all of the information. We loved it so much. Every single one of them had how to lose 10 pounds before your holiday. Front page was Kerry Katona 6 months ago and Kerry Katona now and how she's bollocksed up her Botox or bollocksed up her liposuction now and she has to go get it done again. A lot of emphasis on women's looks, a lot of emphasis on just like shit stuff. And my ma was all like, I'm going to have to stop buying that because that is like awful stuff. But at the time, like that is all we were fed, that was all your worth was whatever shite they were putting in them. Whereas now, like I think there's twofold. Like you are able to see like better role models because you've more access to a wider range of them, but you also have access to people who earn money in such a mad way, like so much money so quickly. And then I think kids grow up thinking, like all my stepsons grow up thinking you can just become a YouTuber and like and that everyone can do that.
Everybody,
you know what I mean? And it's, I suppose it's like me growing up going, I want to be an actor, and then that's like felt like probably the same vibe back then. But it's like there's so much online too that I think makes kids think that life is going to be so much easier than it is.
Yeah.
It's funny as well, though, like to take 3 of the people that you named, like they were such a product of the time and that decade, or not the decade, the sort of generation. Because take Paris Hilton, we all know now that she was kind of playing a character on The Simple Life, dumbing herself down because that was more palatable to people, that she was a blonde bimbo. She's actually a very successful businesswoman and was horrifically abused. Britney Spears, we all know she was completely institutionalized. She was never her own woman in her
so talented as well,
childhood, teenage years or adult life. And then Kim Kardashian as well, you know, there's still people who will be like, oh, she's just famous for a sex tape, but she's actually like her or loathe her,
she's
a really
mogul.
smart businesswoman,
yeah.
and she's made literally billions of dollars
and
that we can only dream of.
I hate the rhetoric that it's like, oh, she doesn't work. That woman works round the clock. Just because you don't consider what she does work, because it's a lot, she earns a lot of money doing something that looks fun.
Yeah.
It's like that girl is a workhorse. She works constantly.
But I do think, I hope, I don't have any sort of young people in my life to back this up, but I think young people are maybe growing up with slightly more positive female role models. You know, they're not going like, oh my god, she released a sex tape and she's a bimbo who's never had a job and she's mad and shaving her head. I think they are seeing women who are like more empowered and more empowering. Do you think you have a younger sister? Like who would she be sort of looking up to? Madison?
I don't really know.
Probably you.
I don't know. No, definitely not me. I can reassure you.
What age is she?
Madison is 16.
Okay,
such an
that is.
I don't know.
Impressionable age.
She's a real good girl. Really good girl. She doesn't really have an interest in going out or anything like that.
They don't at that age.
but
now.
a lot of them now are a lot more. They're a lot smarter than we were, and they're a lot more mature than we were as well.
She like thinks about her future a lot and what she wants to do eventually, and she loves animals, so she wants to work with animals.
Aww.
So she, very, very clever and very, you know, not necessarily but clever. I'm not even saying she's intelligent, but very
Like switched on.
her maturity levels are very advanced compared to like when I was 16. I was probably just going, I just want out of school, I don't really give a shit what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know role model wise. I mean, during COVID and stuff, she loved the Charlie D'Amelios and Addison Rae and stuff.
Yeah.
That was the TikTokers and whatever.
Well, you said you loved Britney growing up. Was it a case of like, Britney Spears is pretty and gorgeous?
I just wanted to be her. I remember I had an auntie, my auntie Sandra, and she's blonde hair, tan and whatever, and she used to really piss me off because she used to wind me up and be like, I look more like Britney Spears than you do. But I was like 3, right?
You're like 13.
No, I was like 3 to say 10. I was obsessed, and she'd be like, I look more, and I remember being about 5, 6, and she...
Do you mean height?
No, age.
I was 3 years old, 5 foot toddler.
I loved Britney Spears, and my auntie came in one day and was like, guess what? And I was like, what? And she was like, I'm definitely more like Britney Spears than you. And I was like, why? She went and got her fucking belly button pierced.
Oh.
And I was ripping. I cried sore for about 3 weeks to my mum, being like, Auntie Sandra has her belly button pierced, and now people's going to think she's Britney Spears and not me. Why can I not get my belly button pierced? My mum's like, because you're 6. Like, obviously not. Oh, and I remember, I don't know if anyone else have this, I remember being so convinced. Now, bear in mind, I looked nothing like Britney Spears. Also, I was probably age 6. You know, like being in the car and being like if I drive past someone here, like they're going to think I'm Britney Spears.
That is
I was
insane.
that deluded and obsessed with her. I was like, I think I told you the thing before about her big long sleeves and crossroads and all. And like, I thought I sang like her, everything.
We are so excited that That Prize Guy is a proud sponsor of the Girls Group Chat podcast. If you haven't heard about That Prize Guy competitions, come out from under your rock.
The current competitions are 70k cash, 50k cash and 40k cash. They give these away almost every single day, and they give away cars such as Land Rover Defenders, Audis Q3 and the most unreal holiday destinations like Mexico.
And you can get in touch for like wedding favours and private event competitions. There's loads of instant win competitions on the website, so you literally enter, and if you the money goes into your account there and then, which is obviously class. And you might even join loads of people who are now millionaires thanks to That Prize Guy.
Absolutely class. So go give yourself a chance to win. Head to thatprizeguy.co.uk and please remember to play responsibly. Keep it fun. I know the first time I met you, I thought, Jesus, it's Britney Spears.
It's kind of given Britney.
But the pennies only just dropped, but it's not herself sitting in front of me.
I did grow out of it, thank God, very quickly.
Britney Spears is such an interesting sort of case study of like a rise and fall, because I don't want this to become the Britney Spears podcast, but like she's thrust into the limelight at such a young age. She was supporting her family from such a young age, and then she was idolized completely from the age of 16, and Hit Me Baby One More Time came out. And it's so funny nowadays, the conversation that there is around Sabrina Carpenter being overly sexualized. For example, Britney Spears was 19 years old when she released the song I'm a Slave for You, which is about being a literal sex slave to men. The video also embodies that, where she's writhing around in next to no clothing. And do you know who got rich off that? Men.
I know.
That's why people have a problem with Sabrina Carpenter, because she's doing it her own way. Do you know who wrote I'm a Slave for You? Pharrell Williams. Do people say he was a bad role model? No, it was Britney Spears.
But and here, on a side note, have you ever seen that clip of Britney Spears live in concert singing I'm a Slave for You? No. Oh, it is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. God love her. She's obviously miming, because she dances like crazy. You can't be expected to sing and dance. Only one person in the world can do that, and that's Beyonce. Nobody else should ever be expected to do that. So she's miming, because for Britney Spears it's more about the choreography, the big show. So she is miming, which is totally fine. But some cruel bastard has recorded her mic, and she's obviously just like singing along because it feels better when instead of just miming the words. But she's like dancing like fuck, and she jumps on top of this guy and he swings her around and she's all I'm a slave for you, and it's the funniest thing ever, because she's obviously not trying to sing, she's just like making sounds, but I swear she's yodeling.
But at the same time, she's putting on a great show.
Of course,
you know. And then
I would still love to see the comeback of her.
I don't want to. I want her to like
live her life.
Yes,
go off and live life.
But
because
I
the
still
downfall
believe
of her was
I still believe she enjoys that performance side. I do, because all her videos she done, you know, the wee videos online and stuff that are quite sad to watch, because she's obviously mentally unwell.
Yeah.
I do believe she still enjoys performance, but not under someone else's terms.
Yeah.
So I think it would be really nice for her someday to be able to say, oh, I can do this my way now.
I don't. I think she is indoctrinated to think that's all she can do for the world, like a performing, dancing monkey. And I think it would be the best thing in the world if she could find her own peace and happiness. And we never knew anything about it, because like we don't have a right to Britney Spears. And like everything she did, she was a bad mom, and she got fat and out of shape, and she shaved her head, and she's mental. She attacked the paparazzi. Any wonder? It's so mad. She was held to such a high, crazy standard, and she's just a girl.
I know. She's not yet a woman.
You know what I mean? But like, you know, she is one female human on this planet, and people were terrible to her.
Even this song, like her first song, her and that fucking school
Oh, aye.
like what was
Porn fantasy.
that about? And then everyone was dressing as a Cintron in for Halloween without even realising we were all making ourselves available for sex pests. Like, it was just the weirdest thing. But I do think she is a great example, though, of someone whose life was just completely taken from them.
It's like Justin Bieber as well now.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber's paparazzi videos. That one the other day, it's became a meme of him saying, you don't really get it, I'm stepping on business. He has reached breaking points so many times now that it's like, when are people going to give him a break? Like, have we learned? Has paparazzi are just rats, to be honest with you. The fact that so many people have been like put through torture with them and they just don't learn.
Such a tough thing to understand, though, too, because so many huge A-list celebrities now who would have made it 10, 15 years ago before social media absolutely needed the paparazzi to survive and to make themselves a name. So although there has to be like regulations and boundaries put in place, they needed them as well. Or they, like Paris Hilton, it would have been all set up.
Or they used to phone the paparazzi
and let them know. And it would have been...
people still do that.
But that's because whenever we only would have seen photographs of them in a magazine once a week. There was like
where you got your news.
Yeah, you'd have had 3 photographs released of Paris Hilton a week, whereas now you get 10 Instagram stories a day.
Yeah.
Not that I'm on her Instagram, but...
The thing is, growing up now as well, is kids see a broader range of type of person.
Yes.
Remember when you were young and like your favourite celebrity came out and it was like the story of the year, you know, if someone like said they were gay, it was like, oh my God. Whereas now I feel like that's not even something that happens. People are just gay or straight or pansexual or bisexual. If someone that you think is straight starts dating a woman, it's like no one even bats an eyelid at it, which I think is so healthy and correct. But whenever we were younger, people who did come out or mad things, people would be asked before they were married, are you a virgin? Like, what business is that of anybody? And by putting yourself in the public eye, are you automatically then like destined to be a role model? Just because you have a talent and put yourself in a public forum, do you have to be a role model?
Or a spokesperson? Like, I feel even like there's a lot of content. So when someone puts content online and it's something that's sad that's happened to them or dark that's happened to them or something, they're just speaking about a negative situation that's happened to them. You're always expecting the end of the video to be like, so here's the lesson I've learned and here's what you should do.
Yes.
And people feel compelled to be like, okay, today I'm having a shit day because of X, Y, and Z. And instead of just ending it there, you feel compelled to then go, so if you're also feeling shit, just so you know, it's not that unusual. Everyone feels that. Whereas you shouldn't be expected to pep talk everyone. You should be able to live your life without going, here's the lessons I've learned and here's how I'm a role model. And also, like, someone like Ellen DeGeneres, like you're talking about people who are coming out, did huge, amazing things for the LGBTQ fucking plus community. This is all the wrong letters there. But she did such amazing things. Like, she was one of the first, like, gay women to have their own chat show. She did such amazing work. Really, like, made all that mainstream. And then she was obviously then a really toxic, horrible person to work for, according to so many people. So, like, does that get taken away from you then, that you were such a good role model? Or are you still allowed to relish in the fact that, like, I done such good things, but I also did lots of shitty things at the same time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
It's also as well with people online, your body becomes so commodified. So for example, you maybe got this whenever you lost loads of weight, but I remember people messaging me being like, what sort of example are you putting out to young girls? And I was like, well, I'm not trying to put out an example to anybody. I'm just living my life and documenting that I've lost weight. Like, are you, because you're putting yourself on a public platform, is everything you do meant to be leading an example to people?
Well, the
we
thing
all make
is,
mistakes.
no one's perfect. That's the thing, and that's what people forget with the whole cancel culture thing.
Yeah, cancel
no one's
culture.
ever gonna. Don't get me wrong. There is times that people do so wrong that you're like, I don't want to know nothing about you anymore. But it's used so rashly as well that, like, if that person didn't have a platform, wasn't a celebrity, wasn't a social media person, no one would bat an eyelid. It would just be like, oh, there's Jamie fucking about there. Do you know?
Yeah.
Where there's such a expectation for people to just be perfect and be good all the time, which, if we're being honest, no one is, and it's completely unrealistic to believe anyone should be.
Yeah, but there's that standard if you post content online or if you're an influencer that you have to, like, speak on topics, that you have to
I don't like
do
that
these
either.
things. You have to be a perfect person all the time, and you're like, you're just a person uploading videos.
Like, you get, I'm sure all of us get people messaging you going, where's your stance on X, Y, and Z? And where's your posts and shares on, you know, whatever political things are happening? But even like you were saying about kids now and having like obviously seeing like I love that in my daughter goes to an integrated school, but I love that in her classroom there's such a pill of different cultures, of different skin colours, of different names that don't sound English, of languages, of religions. Like, you know, she's 4 and she's able to say to me, oh, a person in my class speaks Portuguese as their first language. She understands that there's different languages. I would not have understood that there was different languages at 4 years old. You know what I mean? And different cultures and different religions, even different skin colours. Like that wasn't a thing in my classroom. And I love that my daughter's being raised in a school that has like, just like, you know, it's like she's traveling the world in her classroom every day.
She's learning
she gets to see so
every
different
single
things.
day.
However, there are things that have not changed yet that you worry about, and I know we're always still progressing and trying to do work, but she would still sometimes say stuff like, oh, a dress is for a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you have not learned that in my house. I would never say that.
Yeah,
you know, nail polish, only girls wear nail polish. I've never said that in my life
else.
in my house, and I hate that she has heard that from somewhere.
Picked it up somewhere.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And also, she has such importance placed on long hair.
You said this, yes.
Young girls.
And she was gutted when you cut your hair into a
Devastated
bob.
when I cut my hair up short. She was just like, what's happened? For her, she was like, your hair is not pretty now, because all the princesses, long hair, all the Barbies, long hair, all the Disney stuff, long hair. So she was like, she would get a bath, and when her hair is wet, it obviously sits longer, and she'd be like, look how much longer my hair is now. And I was almost trying to get mine to go shorter and shorter and shorter, just to show her my hair's gorgeous too, short. You don't have to have long hair, but it's the Disney stuff is still not right yet.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I wish that the Disney Matrix or whatever, or Mattel would bring out a bald Barbie, and they still haven't, and I really don't know why. Even with the Barbie movie, they really missed a trick there, and it was really sad to see that they didn't have an alopecia representative in the Barbie complex, because there's so many women that, and young girls, that lose their hair.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for people. Like, it's so hard for a parent to try and help their child when their child has lost their hair and their child is going, I'm not pretty anymore. Yeah. I'm not beautiful anymore.
Even kids going through cancer treatments and stuff
Absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
I remember my wee cousin, he had a brain tumour from he was 9. Still technically does, but he's like 20. It's a good story. He's like 20 now, and he is living with it, and it's hasn't grew, so it's great. But he obviously went through chemo from 9 and lost his hair, and my auntie just was so shocked at the lack of support there, like right down to basic things like bandanas, like you know, they were itchy, or the wigs that you were given, they were itchy, and you know, stuff like that. So she actually started her own charity called Bandanas for the Brave, that her aim is that every child that's diagnosed with cancer and has to go through losing their hair in Northern Ireland then gets a free, good quality, comfortable bandana. But then it was so hard for him to accept as well, because even as a wee boy, you know, it's a wee girls obviously, but even as a wee boy, when you haven't seen other people like that, or you're like your TV shows, or it's hard to then go, well, why am I like this? You're already going through so much that like something like your hair, it shouldn't be made to feel, you shouldn't be made to feel so different for that.
Totally. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's why like diversity and representation is so important. And I feel like there's a certain population group that like roll their eyes when they see someone different cast in a TV show or presenting a TV show or in a magazine or whatever, like that's like, oh, they're ticking a box. And it's like, we've grown up so used to seeing, you know, blonde, thin, pretty women and tall, muscly, handsome men, and that's all that we've seen, and that's all that we know. And there's such a broad spectrum of all different shapes, sizes, abilities, disabilities, you know, everything that some young child or person our age will relate to and feel inspired by seeing. For me, when I was younger, I loved any curvy or celebrities. Like I absolutely idolized Kelly Brook purely for the fact that she wasn't a size 6. I was like, now don't get me wrong, I no more had Kelly Brook's body than I had Claudia Schiffer's, but I looked at her and was like, that's more relatable and real to me. And that's just a body type on someone who is able-bodied. So I think for a young person to see themselves represented in a celebrity, in an influencer, in a doll, in a film, like it's so vitally important. And for people, especially adults, not to have that flippant attitude of like, oh, that's ticking a box. It's so dangerous.
Do you know what bothered me though was whenever the whole like, oh, okay, we're seeing representation and curvy women on TV and on fashion shows and stuff, they were still really in proportion.
Yes.
You know what I was like, yeah, they're curvy, but actually if you don't stand them beside something that's like to give us perspective, they just look still really slim because they're in perfect proportion, and really it's about that's the body shapes we need to see is ones that are completely out of whatever proportion it's supposed to be. Do you know what I mean?
It's as unrealistic to look like, you know, a Kelly Brook type, like, you know, boom,
curves,
boom, boom,
but they're like
then
the
straight up and
perfect
down.
curves.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
Miami
as
Swim
unattainable.
Week. When you see the videos from Miami Swim Week, it's like, yes, we've people that are different sizes per se, but the majority still the same shape. They've still a tiny waist, big bum, big boobs, and a flat stomach.
Exactly.
That's
To be
all I
honest,
wanted growing up.
like even videos from this year at Miami Swim Week, pretty much every single woman, whether they were a size 2 or a size 18, they still had that flat stomach.
Yeah.
And
I
like
know.
that's not you.
That's not what you're looking to see.
Yeah, it's and stuff like that can just be genetic as well. Do you know what I mean? And I, as a bigger girl, I just never seen anyone that had a belly like me. And even, you know, me now, I have a belly that has a line in it and a mucked up belly button, and I don't think there is social media people, thank God, that are bringing that diversity online, but you still wouldn't see someone walking Miami Swim Week with a belly like me.
Like
I
a
think
muffin
you
top.
wouldn't. If you are somebody that's sitting looking at models or people in the media and going representation doesn't matter, you're so lucky to think that.
Yeah.
Because I am somebody who needed and does need representation, and it's so important for your mindset and your confidence. So if you're thinking like it doesn't matter, like it doesn't affect me, you're so lucky to think that.
Yeah.
Was
You're
there
the small
someone-
percentage?
When you started losing your hair, was there a role model for you that you could look at and go, oh, it's okay because it's happened to her as well? Or did you have to like create your own
I had to
inspiration
create
at
my
the
own. I
time?
had to create, and I always talk about like creating our community and creating people online that you can follow and kind of relate to, because the only person I knew that looked like me was somebody's granda. Like the way if you follow me, you know what my hair is lost, but I lose most of my hair at the top of my head, and I'd never seen anyone that looked like me, and I continuously most of my life don't see anyone who looks like me.
And like,
So-
we're
But
not
it's
talking
so-
here back in the 90s. Like, this is within very
the
recent
last
history.
10
But it's
years.
amazing then that you decide to fill that void.
Amazing.
You're like, I'll do it then.
Because the thing is, it's so much more common. Like you saying that you hadn't seen anyone, a lot of people would have been hiding it. And that's
Absolutely.
why you wouldn't have seen it.
Exactly,
Where
yeah.
people like you who have normalised it is why you're seeing more of it. It's not that more people's getting alopecia, because that's not the case.
Definitely
It's
not.
more people are becoming proud and willing to show what they have.
Yeah.
Where before it would have been hidden.
See, it's even being tall as an actor. Like, there was never women my height on TV in leading roles. And I remember even going a couple of TV shows I've done, and I would arrive at a costume fitting, and even though all of my sizes are written down and my heights written down, I would see the costumes and I'd be like, just about how tall I am. And I remember one specific movie I was doing one time, and my love interest was shorter than me, and she was like, we're gonna have to, like, it's gonna have to be a perspective job. I'm gonna have to dress you in like darker clothes and try and make you look smaller because you're so much taller than him. And you only seen women taller than their male like love interests on TV shows when it was for comedy.
Yeah, the height
When
was
it was
the punchline.
when the
Very
height was the
true.
punchline. And and it's not even that long ago either, I remember seeing my good friend Brona Wall, who played Jamie Dornan's wife in The Fall. She's taller than him, and I remember her telling me for her audition, for her callback, she was doing a read through with Jamie, and she was walking into the room and she seen that it was him, and she kicked off her shoes, stand beside him in her bare feet, because she was like, they're not going to
That
cast me, I'm too tall. And she is taller than him, but it's not mentioned.
Yeah.
No.
It's not mentioned, it's not a joke. They're just two fucking great actors with great chemistry playing their roles. And I remember being like, well, she's the exact same height as me.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, right, you can be taller than the guy in it, because lots of women are taller than like me and my husband are the same height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I put on heels, I'm taller than him. And for loads of years, I would never wear heels. And it would be like, oh, I don't want to be taller than my husband or my boyfriend.
But
But
it's like such a like societal thing that you can't be like taller
It
than the
is.
man you're with.
because men are told that it emasculates them.
Yeah.
And women are told that it emasculates us. You look
Yeah.
like a man if
being
you're tall.
Yeah.
It's the same with body size as well. Like, if there's a larger woman in a movie, it's hard to think of a movie where the lead character is plus size.
Yeah.
Where it's not a joke about her being
Yeah.
the big girl, or like she has to be a comedian,
Yeah.
because like we can't have someone larger than like a size 12 who's like meant to be sexy or meant to be like, you know, a cool girl or successful or something like that. You know,
Funny
there's
enough,
so many films
shout
like
out to
that.
Jamie Dornan again, because he did this series in Australia. and I can't remember what the series is called, but it's this like thriller series, and his love interest in that would be a really curvy girl. Phenomenal actress, I'm telling you. I watched her and was glued to her, and I've watched other things since. I can't even remember her name now. And she has love interest in that, and she would be a really curvy girl beside him, and it was never mentioned.
I love that.
Jamie Dornan's probably one around going, right, do not give me some skinny 5'3" woman. Like, so maybe it's Jamie.
Obviously, like the media and stuff, like growing up, I know we've talked so much about social media and how it's so negative. It can have the negative impact on like young people and people our age. But I just think it's so nice now that there's so many people on social media from this country that post, and we can hear voices that sound like us. Because I just feel like we're never represented in the media.
Yeah.
Especially like on the news. I remember when I was doing my news stuff at Christmas, they were like, it's so nice to hear Tyrone voice on the news. And I was like, what? They're like, we never get anyone from Tyrone on the main news.
I remember hearing a Northern Irish accent on something. It wasn't that long ago. I was probably like 20. I was like, oh, our accent sounds so minging among like English accents, because that's all you're used to hearing. Yeah. And actually, it doesn't.
Once
at all.
you
It's
get
just
used
a
to it,
different
I
accent.
actually think our accent's one of the more pleasant accents. I actually think a Northern Irish accent is a lovely accent.
Dairy Girls did so much work for that as well. Like, see, all around the world for people to now understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
And I remember like even like hearing loads of interviews with cast members from Dairy Girls being like, and you know, do you think you have to slow down in interviews or like for people to understand what you're saying? And really the general consensus was no, just keep up. Yeah. Just keep up with the way we have done with views for an age.
I did a brand deal with I was nearly going to say who they were there
with someone
with a UK huge brand last year, and it was a video, and then I had to do a voiceover, and I am so adamant that I will never slow down my voice for anybody because this is the way I talk, and obviously I'm a pure culture whatever, and sent it away off, got approved, and then they came back to me a week later and were like, we've just had a meeting about your content, and like the voiceover's going to have to change, we can't understand a word you're saying. And I was like, in what way? And she was like, it's just your accent's so thick. And I was like, that's not my problem.
But also,
I'm never going to change
what you
for
spoke
anybody.
like.
Exactly.
I hate that.
You came to me.
You're not going to change. You seen what you were getting by looking at my social media account. So why would I change it just for your brand?
So this went back and forth, and I was just like, I just feel like you're discriminating based on my voice. And she was
that used to happen to me.
Do you know, it's not fair.
Every time I did radio voiceovers, I used to do loads of them. I stopped doing them now because, to be honest, they now pay shite. They used to pay this to be regulated way better. You'll comply with that.
Don't know
but
what you're
anyway,
talking about.
I used to do loads of them all the time, and I remember one specific company, local company, as I walked in, and the advertising company said to me, "Here, can you leave the dairy at the door?" That was the phrase.
No way.
And then another company used to always say, can you anglicize it a wee bit, like make it more actual? And you look that very neutral Northern Irish accent where you're like, did they grow up in England sort of thing?
A bit of America and England all mixed into one with a...
Yeah, there was a hotel, I'll not mention who it was, and they came to me and I was doing the voiceover, and they were like, again, it was like, it's too dairy. Can you make it sound more English without
what is wrong with
without an English accent? And I on purpose did the ad. It sounds like I'm having a yawn the whole way through it. I'm like this talking in the whole ad the whole way.
I think I know the ad you're talking about.
You do know what I'm talking about because it played constantly on your station. And I sent that off and they were like, that'll do. And I was like, I sound like a middle-aged woman who needs a yawn, but they wanted that over this.
Yeah.
And I was like, but you're a local hotel. You know what I mean? Who's your clientele?
Yeah. Exactly.
Give her some dairy.
I think as well it's important to mention, like we've all talked today about role models, and it's all been people in the public eye, etc. For me, I would say my main role models in life, and this is why I strive every day to be a better person, because my dream is, I don't care what the general public think of me as a role model, I want my grandkids to remember me for good reasons, because my two nannies they'll be my biggest role model. The rest of they're both passed away sadly last year, but when I look at my two nannies, they beat any celebrity that will ever. My nanny, my dad's mummy, she had her own 3 children, my dad, and she fostered 16 kids over
what a saint
her younger years, and I look at her and I'm like, no celebrity compares. That is, she gave the best life to children that maybe would have been stuck in the care system and whatever else. And I look at someone like her, or my other nanny that passed away, she herself and my granddad, they got a medal from the Queen for their charity work. Now this is 2 old. This was in their older years, in their 60s and 70s. Raised between them, I think, about £180,000 for Northern Ireland Cancer Fund for Children.
That's amazing.
Doing bag packs in Asda, car boot sales, and what other, like, charity nights.
That's how we met?
Yeah, that's how I met Jordan. She hosted one of them, and I look at people like that and I'm like, they're the real role models.
Yeah,
and I really regret tidal waving her in that pool. I'm very sorry. They're the real role models of the world. That
I do find, like, as you say, like, that's amazing. Like, and they're the people that we do look up to in our daily lives. Like, whenever I work a lot with people with cancer, and there was one woman a couple of weeks ago that came to one of my workshops, and she was like, "Oh, you're such an inspiration." And I was like, "You are living with cancer. Like, you are living with stage 4 cancer." And like, I just can't. When anyone says something like that to me, I'm just like, I am so inspired. I meet the most inspiring people every single day.
You do.
And it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, it has changed my life and my perspective on life. And those are the people in our community that, like, keep us up, like.
Completely.
And they're the role models.
That's what makes you live, like, make better decisions. Like, obviously you look at celebrities and they're role models in ways of, like, empowering, if that makes sense. But I think, like, my life decisions and how I want to be comes down to the real life people,
of
and
course,
stories that you hear from people. That's what inspires me to make, like, the important decisions
and it
in
affects
life.
your morals because they've taught you those
morals
things.
Yeah.
Do you know, when I was a child, and probably when we were all a child, your biggest role model was just the older girls in the street.
Oh yeah.
Do you know, like, no matter what sort of hellions they were older and they knew stuff, and you were like, I need to be like them. And there was a girl on my school bus, and I only got the school bus the odd time whenever I was in primary school, and she was like maybe 2 primaries ahead of me. And I remember just idolizing her. She was tall. I'm pretty sure she had a fringe, guys. That might have been where it started. And I remember just thinking she was so cool. And I got to sit beside her in the bus one day. And then these like fellas were sat in front of us, and they were like giving us a hard time. I think we were all flirting. I'm not sure, but it was like they were slagging us off. So I think we probably were flirting. And one of them, I told them, like, leave her alone. She's my best friend, about this older girl and all. And one of them went, what's her name then if she's your best friend? Because they knew by looking at us we weren't best friends. And I remember going, of course I know her name. And then it dawned on me I didn't know this girl's name, even though I'd idolized her for so long. And then one of the wee boys goes, it's Nikki. And I had never heard the name Nikki for a girl. And I remember just being all... They're saying your name's Nikki. Like, knickers, wise up, her name's not Nikki. And she was all, my name is Nikki. And I was all, oh my God, I have just upset my idol.
Tori, you're your idol down to the ground.
Fuming with myself.
It's funny though, with people like that, you always remember idolizing them whenever you're young. Like, there was a girl when I was in P1 and she was the lead in the P7 play, and I just thought she had the voice of an angel, and she did right enough go on to be like an amazing singer in her adult years. And she's a family friend of one of my really close friends and followed me on Instagram a few years ago. And I still, her name's Vicky McNice, in case she helps me listen to this. I was like, that's Vicky McNice who was in the P7 play. Oh my God. Like, as a woman in my 30s, I am still like blown away that she would want to follow me. Yeah. It's so funny. And it's very wholesome and sweet.
It sticks
also, like,
with you.
And it's kind of funny because you'll never know who maybe thought like you were kind of cool whenever you were younger and looked up to you. And you never know, I suppose, being on social media, who might look at you as an inspiration as well. But I think what you're saying about real life people is really interesting, because I don't think it's anyone's responsibility, unless they put themselves out there and say, hello, I am a role model to women and this is how you should live your life. Well, then they have a standard to be held to. But I think anyone just living their lives, it's up to parents and older brothers, sisters, whoever, to police who their kids are looking at. If they do make a decision that's not in agreement with their morals and how they want to bring their child, well, that's on you to police that, rather
rely
than
on
the
social
person.
media to raise your kids, basically.
Or even schools, because you get a lot of people going, oh, like in the schools, like they don't teach them this, they don't teach them that. And you're like, yeah, but you're also their parents.
Yeah,
like, you have a
teach them
job
things.
to teach your kids things too. The schools can only do a certain amount.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's so true.
It's dawned to me that I'm going to regret this fringe on all of the clips.
I know.
I
But
can't wait
maybe
to take it
someone
off.
with a really crazy blonde fringe will be like, well, so inspired. That's my role model. Yeah.
Because it's just the basic word of context. There's not going to be a clip of me going, hi, my fringe is a joke. Can we put that line at the start of every clip?
This is
Yeah.
a disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
But I just feel like we love a theme. Like, you wouldn't know what you're going to get. We've had like many a theme now.
I hate episodes that aren't themed. I feel like not showing up, frankly.
In our short-lived career as podcasters of the Girls Group Chat podcast, we have probably had 5 or 6 of them so far.
Yeah.
And if we can be role models for anything, we hope it's that you adopt more themes.
You do you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you. See ya.